Boys and girls, it's Miss Kay Davis again. I'm going to do read two of An Extraordinary Egg. Now, the title of this book is The Extraordinary Egg. Remember, the title is what the book is called. The author is the person who writes the words, and the illustrator does or draws or finds the pictures. And in this story, the author is Leo Leone. Now, in this read, we're going to find a problem. Sometimes stories have problems. Jessica the frog finds a special pebble that turns out to be an egg. A creature or an animal hatches from the egg that the frogs believe is a chicken. The chicken and the frogs must learn to be friends and help one another. All right, so today I'm wondering how Jessica and the baby alligator feel. So today's read is all about feelings. I want to know how they feel about being friends. So we have to read and find out their feelings. So, An Extraordinary Egg. On Pebble Island, there lived three frogs: Marilyn, August, and one who was always somewhere else. That one's name was Jessica. Jessica was full of wonder and curiosity. She would go on long walks way to the other side of Pebble Island and return at the end of the day shouting, "Look what I found!" And even if it was nothing but an ordinary little pebble, she would say, "Isn't it extraordinary?" Extraordinary is different and really special. But Marilyn and August were never impressed. I think Jessica notices something special in everything she finds, even if it's just something plain that you see every day. She thinks it's extraordinary, really special. One day, in a mound or a small pile of stones, she found one that stood out from all the others. It was perfect, white like the snow and round like the full moon on a midsummer night. Even though it was almost as big as she was, Jessica decided to bring it home. When I look at Jessica's face, I can tell that she feels excited about finding this extraordinary thing. She must be thinking, "This is such an extraordinary pebble. It's like nothing that I've ever seen before. I bet Marilyn and August will be so impressed. They will think this is great. I wonder what and August will say when they see this," she thought as she rolled the beautiful stone to the small inlet. A small inlet is an area of water where the three of them lived. I can tell Jessica feels so excited to share this extraordinary pebble with August and Marilyn. I think she really wants them to be impressed and think it's something great. "Look what I found," she shouted proudly and triumphantly. "A huge pebble." This time Marilyn and August were truly astonished and surprised. "That is not a pebble," said Marilyn, who knew everything about everything. "It's an egg, a chicken egg. And if you look at the middle of the page, you'll see that there is an egg." "A chicken egg? How do you know it's a chicken egg?" asked Jessica, who had never even heard of chickens. Marilyn smiled. "There are some things you just know. So I'm thinking they are familiar. It's in their schema. It's what they already know. This must be different from anything that Jessica's brought back before. This is something that none of the frogs are familiar with because they have never seen it before." Marilyn and August are astonished by it. They are really surprised to see something so extraordinary. Marilyn feels sure it is a chicken egg. A few days later, the frogs heard a strange noise coming from the egg. They watched in amazement as the egg cracked and out crawled a long, scaly creature or animal that walked on four legs. "See," exclaimed Marilyn. "I was right. It is a chicken." "A chicken?" they all shouted. The chicken took a deep breath Oh, grunted, gave each of the astonished frogs a look, and said in a small, raspy voice, "Where is the water?" Straight ahead, the frogs cried out excitedly. I'm thinking that since the frogs are not familiar with what alligators or chickens look like, they don't know what kind of animal came out of the egg. They must think Marilyn is very smart because they let her convince them that the creature or animal is a chicken. They make her believe it. They believe what she says. Now, they may not be familiar with it, but they must have some schema or knowledge about it because they infer that it is a chicken. Infer means make a guess. The chicken threw herself into the water, and the frogs dove in after her. To their surprise, the chicken was a good swimmer and fast too, and she showed them a new way to float and paddle. They had a wonderful time together and played from sun up to sundown, which was all day. And they didn't have any rest. And so it went for many days. They must be thinking, it's so much fun playing with a friend. It's nice to spend time with a friend. I can tell they feel really content or happy when they play together. They are inseparable, they are always together. And one day, when Jessica was somewhere else, August and Marilyn saw a commotion, a noisy confusion in the water below them. Someone was in trouble. Quickly, the chicken dove into the dark pool. August and Marilyn were frightened and scared. After a few long moments, the chicken reappeared where you could see it again. It was carrying Jessica. "I'm all right," she called. "I got tangled or wrapped up in the weeds, but the chicken saved me." Now, that's a true friend. The alligator must really care about Jessica. I bet Jessica feels so glad, so thankful that the alligator jumped in to rescue or save her. She must be thinking, wow, this little creature is a really good friend. She helped me when I was in trouble. From that day on, Jessica and her rescuer, someone who saves you, were always together. They were inseparable friends. Wherever Jessica went, the chicken went too. They traveled all over the island. They went to Jessica's secret thinking place and to the Great Pebble Monument. A monument is something built to remember a person or an event. Jessica must be thinking, I feel so lucky to have a friend, a new friend that is just special to me. And when I was in trouble, she helped me, and she's kind and she enjoys playing and sharing with me. I want to be with her all the time. I want to be inseparable. And she's so extraordinary. She's great. One day they went to a place where Jessica had never been before. A red and blue bird flew down from a tree. "Oh, there you are," said excitedly when it saw the chicken. "Your mother has been looking all over for you. Come, I'll take you to her." Look at their faces. They look surprised to hear the news. I bet they are very curious to meet the chicken's mother. Yet I wonder if Jessica might feel worried that she and her new friend will have to be apart now. They followed the bird for a very long time. They walked and they walked and they walked under the warm sun and the cool moon. And then, now before we go to the next page, I bet the baby alligator will be glad to meet his mother. I notice Jessica is smiling here. She must be thinking, even though this is a long walk and I'm really tired, I will do anything to help my friend find her mother. I am so thankful for the way she helped me when I was in trouble. They came upon the most extraordinary creature they had ever seen. It was asleep, but when it heard the little chicken shout, "Mother," it slowly opened an eye, smiled an enormous, very large smile, and in a voice as gentle as the whispering grass said, "Come here, my sweet little alligator." And the little chicken climbed happily onto her mother's nose. "Now it's time for me to go," said Jessica. "I'll miss you very much, little chicken. Come visit us soon and bring your mother too." I'm sure that Jessica and the chicken feel sad because they will have to be apart from each other. Remember, they have been inseparable, always together friends. Even though they are a little sad about having to be apart, they are probably thankful that the alligator found her mother. I bet they will continue to be friends. Jessica couldn't wait to tell Marilyn and August what had happened. As she neared the inlet, she shouted, "Guess what I found?" And she told them all about it. "And do you know what the mother chicken said to her baby?" Jessica asked. "She called her my sweet little alligator." "Alligator?" Marilyn said Marilyn. "What a silly thing to say." And the three frogs couldn't stop laughing. I think these frogs were still convinced, they still believed that the alligator was a chicken. They are probably thinking that it's so silly that her mother called her a little alligator. Why would she call her that name? I think that they really, just don't care. It doesn't matter to them what kind of animal she was. And the important thing is that she was a good friend who was kind, fun to be with, and who helps others. They felt thankful to have her as a friend. Now, as we end our story today, um, I want you to think, how did Jessica and the alligator feel about being friends? Were they content or happy? They were inseparable and always together made them feel happy. They were thankful. I want to know how you feel. So I want you to close your eyes, visualize before you give me an answer. Also, we didn't do it before we went over, but we need to um, go over today's vocabulary. Remember, curious. Curious is eager to learn or know how to do something. They were curious about what the egg was or what the pebble was. Inseparable, hard to keep apart, like to be together. Jessica and the alligator or the chicken were always inseparable. Convince means make you believe something, talk you into something. Extraordinary is unusual, remarkable, wonderful. Content means you're satisfied or happy. And in the end, I think they were all content and all happy. How do you think that they feel?